Good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. And our top story today, protecting older Americans from abuse and scams. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Melanie McGovern is with the Better Business Bureau. Melanie, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you.
Let's talk about scams. And I want to start off with, I know there's a lot of scammers. We've covered them on the show. We will continue to do that. But how prevalent is this among our nation's elderly? How are they being scammed?
Well, unfortunately, scammers like to target older adults because they think that they're not tech savvy or that they'll always answer their phone. There's so many different things that are stigmatized about our older adult population. But what we found at BBB is that our older adults are getting a lot more savvier in recognizing these scams and reporting them to our scam tracker so that we can then in turn put out the education that we do so everybody has that resource to protect themselves.
Yeah, and so I will agree with you 100%. Pardon me. People like my mom's very tech savvy. In fact, she helps book guests on the program. You may have seen her in the email to you. Talk a little bit about that scam tracker, because I want to give people the resource. How do they find information, whether it's for themselves or for their parents, their caregiver, people that they're caregiving for?
So over at bbb.org, in the top corner, there's a button that says Scam Tracker. People can go to Scam Tracker to report a scam or to look one up. And a lot of times when people go over there to look up a scam, they'll see that it happened to somebody in an identical fashion. The same names were used, the same MO was used. So it's really important. We always encourage people, even if you didn't lose money, always report the scam to Scam Tracker, because if somebody goes to, say, Google to search for a scam, that BBB Scam Tracker report will pop up. People will have the confidence to know that somebody at BBB checked this out, confirmed that it was a scam, and then published it. So all the details that you can provide, really important, down to phone number, time of day, what the caller said, what the email said, where on social media you saw this. It's really important to have all of those details so that, again, if somebody is searching for what they think is a scam and they see that BBB Scam Tracker report pop up, it's really important to them to know, okay, this is a scam, I'm going to let it go. We take all of that data every year and compile it into what we call our risk report. So we don't just report, these are the top 10 scams in North America. We report on the riskiest scam, and we assess risk by how likely is somebody going to lose money when this scam is perpetrated. Last year, for all age groups, it was online purchase. We saw a big jump in online purchase scams during the pandemic, and as people have moved their commerce to online, it's still a thing. So it's really important, again, if you see a website and you're like, oh, that's a really good price for that product, but wait, you go over to Scam Tracker and then you see there's 17 reports saying I never got my item, then you know, hey, this is a scam.
Yeah, and really good point. These scammers, they're super sophisticated. A lot of times they're coming out of emerging market economies. I mean, they're huge enterprises. They can create websites and emails that look almost exactly like your bank, look exactly like an Amazon or retail, to your point. What are some of the more current scams that you're seeing? You mentioned one about e-commerce, but where else can people get scammed? Where else are you finding scams? What types of scams are you finding, I guess I should say?
So we just issued a report on employment scams, which again are still going on. We see them all the time, but they're just getting a lot more sophisticated because a lot of people want to work from home, or they're looking for a second job, a side hustle, things like that. So employment scams are always super prevalent. We are predicting that this year's losses will smash last year by probably August, just with the amount of dollars that have been reported to us. A lot of the other scams are just your general scams, but they're asking for different payment methods. They're asking for those peer-to-peer payment apps, which we know a lot of older adults don't use, or if they use them, it's because their grandparent or their grandchildren made them. So it's really important to understand those terms and conditions on your Zelle, your Venmo, your PayPal, those types of apps to know if you're paying somebody that way. If you're authorizing that transaction, you're not going to get that money back. So
Yeah.
that's why they call it peer-to-peer, because you're supposed to be paying friends and family, not retailers. If it is a retailer, retailers do accept these things, but they have business accounts. So you want to make sure it's a business account. So then if you don't get an item or if something goes wrong, you have a little bit of recourse. But if you pay peer-to-peer, that money's gone. So those are a couple of things we're seeing a lot more. We just issued another study again on timeshare and travel tips and scams and things like that that people need to watch out for. And we do know that older adults are often targeted for travel because they have the time and the means to invest in travel. So really good consumer tips on just making sure if you do sign up for a timeshare, you know exactly what you're getting into, what you're getting your family into, and how to get out of it. Sometimes getting out of it is the hardest part of these types of situations. So it's really important to arm yourself with that information before you say yes to anything.
Yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, I got to tell you, it generally is. Melanie, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about prevention. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're joined this morning by Melanie McGovern of the Better Business Bureau. Melanie, thanks so much for staying with us this morning. Really appreciate you hanging around for segment number 2.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is a fun one, but an important one. And another scam, I know you brought this to my attention. Let's talk a little bit about Facebook or Meta. People are spoofing, meaning copying existing profiles. So they're pretending to be, I mean, I don't have a Facebook account, but I can't see anybody wanting to pretend to be me. But they are spoofing, they are copying other people's accounts. This is scary.
It is. You know, when you get a friend request from your mother-in-law or your mother or an aunt or an uncle who may be older, it is scary because I'm more worried about that person than I am myself. So if you see one of these, you need to report it to Meta immediately. tell the person who's being spoofed, hey, somebody's spoofing your account. Have them go in and change their password. I have heard horror stories from people who've had their Facebook accounts hijacked. They can't get back into them. They've filed appeals. They still can't get back. And a lot of people, that I speak to say, well, that's where all my pictures are. So I keep my account, but I don't go on there. So those accounts are dormant. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for dormant accounts, or they're looking for pictures of older adults who they think might not be tech savvy, or, okay, they're older, they might not be in and out of their Facebook all the time. So, and a lot of times they'll send messages to your existing friend list, asking for money, asking for peer-to-peer payments, asking for gift cards. So, keep that account active. If you're not using it, deactivate it. And, it's always good to change your password periodically, just, and don't use the same password for everything. I know we all have done that before. Just, make sure you're keeping that account nice and safe, because it is scary when you think about that kind of stuff. A friend of mine got a phone call, or his parents got a phone call saying he was in jail because he posted that he was out of town. So you never know who's lurking. You never know who's lurking in your friend list. So, just really be careful when it comes to posting and keeping that password safe.
And let's keep in mind, it's equal opportunities offender. So it's not just Facebook, it could be, or Meta, excuse me, Twitter, YouTube. I've been, some people that I follow on YouTube, there have been commenters that have been kind of doing what you're talking about, which is pretending to be other people, spoofing and trying to get people to transfer money. Let's talk, you mentioned about awareness, and you've got the BBB tracker. You put out the report. Let's talk about prevention and what's going on at the, and this is more of a policy question, but what's going on with state and local governments, because Better Business Bureau is everywhere. I mean, you're throughout the country, but what's going on in terms of policy to prevent these things? And also at the national level, are our public officials taking the necessary steps? And what are they?
So we've been asked to join this task force with the Federal Trade Commission, and there are groups from all over the country. We actually have a meeting this week where we're working on older adult education, and we're basing a lot of it on what people are seeing, the boots on the ground. So the local BBBs are phenomenal at doing presentations, workshops, getting information out into the public, whether it's via local media, webinars, or in-person events. So that is something that we're very happy to help the FTC with, to get the information that the BBBs are sharing out there. And, the task force is going to make recommendations to Congress about legislation and things that they can do. A lot of times, though, what we see is that most of these scammers are overseas. They're in the computer. It's so hard to track them down. It's so hard to get the money back. So the best defense we have is education and letting people know, hey, this scam's going on, or hey, this is something that could happen. Here's how you protect yourself, especially when it comes to things like the grandparent scam, where they're calling saying, oh, grandma, I'm in trouble. And you are freaking out because you don't know if that's really your grandchild or not. And you're worried. So you're giving people money. And I've seen videos online of people coming to the door and people handing envelopes out. So, just making sure that, oh, wait, I've heard of this. I'm going to hang up and call my grandchild directly. Just having that 1 second of, this might not be real, and taking the time to do a little research really goes a long way. And that's a lot of the education that we do, is just reminding people of that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think I don't think you can really prevent. First of all, these people that are doing it are in places where you can't even extradite. We don't even have extradition treaties to get even if you found them, you couldn't get them, bring them here for justice. So that I don't think it will change in the short run. But I think I agree with you. I think it's all about awareness and keeping people aware. They can certainly go to the Better Business Bureau site in their state. I think when you log on to bbb.org, it actually takes you to the URL of your local BBB, right?
Yes, and there's a contact page, and a lot of BBBs will have resources for older adults. There's a page on bbb.org that you can find all of the information that we've talked about, updated articles. Whenever there's a new scam, we always write an article, put it in our news feed, put it on our social media channels to let people know, hey, this is going on. Share it. If you're if you have older parents, if you're a caregiver, it's always really important to have those conversations too, even though they can be very difficult. We know that, when somebody's a victim, they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they don't want to talk about it. So knowing the signs of, hey, something might be going on, that's really important as well.
Yeah, really, really important. And you don't have to be ashamed. Look, I make mistakes. My wife will tell you I make mistakes every day. So we all make mistakes. It's nothing to be shameful about, but if you report it, pay it forward. You can help somebody else. Melanie, we're going to have to leave it there. Always great to talk to you. Best of luck in preventing these things. We need to work hard, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thanks. Yeah, this is awesome to get that information out there. So thank you.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, visit our website, and of course, all of our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Waiting here for you to take and drink of. But if you're tired, come on.
Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.